So over the past couple of weeks, we've been doing loads of different jobs to the Defender. We've had plenty of time and it's just given us a perfect opportunity to do various different things. And it got me thinking that the last time you guys saw the Defender was actually when we picked it up. So yeah, about a year ago now. And I just thought it'd be a perfect time to give you a quick walkthrough and show you what we've done to it, and yeah, maybe show you a bit more about the actual Defender. So let's take a look. So starting from the front, first thing we did was change the badge. It used to say Land Rover in silver, and we've changed that now to Defender in black. The later ones did actually have Defender written on them, and we quite like that written on there, so yeah, we added that on. Moving down from the badge, we've got a new grille, fitted that's just from eBay. It's a metal wire grille, just gives it a bit more of a classic look. The original is a plastic kind of line effect. We added a badge onto that. That's a metal badge that's all kind of like engraved into it, again from eBay. There's loads of bits for a Land Rover, which is fantastic. Looking at the lights, these are different as well. Originally there's plastic light surrounds on here and normal sort of halogen lamps in here. We've fitted LED lights. They're just plug and play, just straight in there, LED lights into the middle of those. And then this is the actual original plastic light surround, which has had an extra bit cut out, and then series 2 metal light surrounds have been fitted in there, sprayed them black, sprayed these body colour, and it gives just a bit of a different style really on the front end. Eventually I'd like to change these to LEDs as well, just so they're a bit more in keeping. So that's something on the list. That list keeps growing. But yeah, other than that, everything else is the same, I think, on the front here. So under the bonnet, the more boring stuff but essential stuff, I've done a full service on it, changed all the oils, including the diff, the gearbox, etc. So yeah, I did that as soon as we got it, actually, about, well, a year ago, and it just, peace of mind. Just it was fully serviced, but it just gives you peace of mind that it's all got fresh oils in. That was a fairly easy job. At least you can get underneath this, unlike normal cars. On this side, some of you may be wondering what this is. There's usually just an open kind of grille there. We fitted this, called a snow cowl. What can happen when it snows is snow can settle in there, melt, and end up into the heater elements and things like that, so it just stops that from happening. Obviously we don't get much snow at all, but I just like the look of them. That's entirely why I've done that. Now the most recent and probably the biggest change aesthetically is brand new wheels. Now this actually came with 5-spoke boost alloys, which we've still got, and more road bias tyres, and I just wanted it to look a bit more utilitarian, so we've gone for, these are replicas of Wolf steel wheels. Now Wolf wheels used to be fitted to the military spec Defenders. They're really heavy duty, and the price of those original Wolf wheels have gone through the roof. So we've got replicas. They're from a company called Terra Firma, still heavy duty steel wheels, but a lot less money. I think it was about 270 quid for a set 5, which is pretty damn good. And they're already black. I wanted them black. You often see them in white, which also looks quite cool, but yeah, so these are black. And then they are wrapped in Goodyear MTR tyre, so they're like a mud terrain tyre, which just gives it that bit more purposeful kind of off-road look. They're the same size tyres, so they're still 235 by 85 on a 16-inch wheel, but just because they've got far more tread, they just look that bit more aggressive. So yeah, really like that, and they're nice and clean for once, which is good. Now around the back of the Defender, again you can see these wheels. You can see how new this all is, because you can still see the white from where they put the actual tyres on the wheel. This one is a brand new tyre, but it did come as 5 part worn tyres. I got them off the forum, which is a fraction of the price, and they'll last for ages because the tread is still so deep on them, which is great. Now this wheel is mounted on a new swing away wheel carrier. A lot of the time you can end up damaging the rear door on a Defender because they were never really quite strong enough to mount a spare wheel on. I know that they came like that from the factory, but there's often cracks in rear doors we don't have a crack in the rear door, and I wanted to keep it that way. So this is an add-on. It's quite hard to see because the wheel's there, but it's an add-on frame that actually goes through the crossmember on the bottom here, and it just yeah, transfers the weight away from the rear door and down through the chassis instead. And then beneath the spare wheel we have the crossmember. These are renowned for starting to show a bit of rust, a bit of surface rust and things like that, and ours was starting to show that. So I sanded it all back, and I used a 2-part crossmember respray kit, which is basically a spray with like a rust encapsulator, just stops the rust coming through, and then like a nice thick black spray paint over the top, which just tidies up that rear end. I've done that to all the tow bar equipment, so the frame for the tow bar and the tow ball and all that kind of stuff, but I'm just awaiting some new bolts to be able to fit that back onto the Defender. So that's why currently you can see part of the electrics for the tow bar are just hanging down. Just above the crossmember, I've also replaced all these bolts. They were starting to show a little bit of surface rust, so these are all now stainless steel as well, which looks a lot tidier. Well, we've obviously had plenty of time to do various different things, and one of the biggest things I've done is I've actually fitted central lock-in. This is full farmer spec, this Defender. It was completely bog standard. It has winding windows, no aircon or anything like that. It does have a radio, which is nice, but it didn't have central lock-in, and the amount of times you would get out and forget to press the little button down after the passengers got out. So I wanted to fix that. Again, another kit off eBay. It was £22 for the kit. A bit of it comes with all the wiring and everything like that. It took me a long time to do because I'm very new to all this, but it does work. Now there's a couple of things I still need to do with the central lock-in. One is I need to route the wiring to the back door. Currently the back door is still separate. I have to unlock that with a key. But once I've run the wire to the back there, I just need to buy a different style of lock, because the lock on that never was designed for central lock-in. You don't need to buy new locks for these, they're fine, but you do need to buy a new lock for the rear door. You can change the barrel over so that you can still use the same key if you want to, but also that will then allow central lock-in for the back door. Now once that is all done, I will then, once I've plucked up the courage to do it, I will then be able to run a wire. It comes with a couple of wires that are out of the little control box for the central lock-in, and you can actually solder them into the original alarm setup in this. You'll see there's another key fob on here, and that's for the alarm. And you can actually, yeah, you can wire this central lock-in into that key fob so that it all works off the original Land Rover key fob, so it looks completely like it came from the factory like that, which is really, really cool. So eventually we will do that. Also, whilst I was doing the central lock-in, I completely soundproofed the doors. So it's got a material called Silent Coat, which you'll see later on. It's just like a sticky, thick material that is now inside the door cards. Yeah, they're much better now. And we've also done underneath the seats and all that kind of stuff. Another big change, brand new steering wheel. This is a really nice steering wheel. It's a tiny bit smaller. It just means that there were a couple of times where we'd go around the roundabout with the original steering wheel, which is massive. And Land Rovers are pretty well renowned for not having any room for your elbow. And I'd go around the corner, and there were a couple of times where you almost get trapped in the vehicle and you can't then unwind the steering. So it's all good fun. It's all part of the experience. But this just makes it, yeah, that little bit more comfortable to drive. And it looks cool. I do like the look of this steering wheel. Now another good thing about changing the steering wheel is this new steering wheel came with pins which then located into a fixing, which then gave us back self-cancelling indicators. Major luxury that is. It's surprising how you get used to these things in modern day cars, but they were missing. There was a bit of a weird steering wheel that was on it. I think it was an original Land Rover one, but I'm not entirely sure why the indicators didn't work. However, they do now self-cancel, which is nice. Next to the steering wheel, we put a little foam bracket in. That's quite nice. Again, another eBay special. and that just fixes into what was an existing like screw hole with an attachment and things like that, which is quite nice. You can either mount it there or high up. It would have been quite nice high up actually, so I'm wondering about changing that, because sometimes you smack it with your hand when you're changing gear. I'm sure some of you will be wondering what this bright green thing is down here. Now that's called a pedal lock. These are well renowned for being easily stolen. The security is not great on them as standard, so there's loads of things that you can do which we've been checking off the list. I'm not going to go into them because obviously that's all part of the security, that people don't know what's on it, but one of the things that's very obvious is the bright green pedal lock. That has a nice big like safe key thing on it, and you lock it over all 3 pedals, and it just makes it much harder to steal. It certainly slows the thief down anyway, and it means you can't access the brake, the pedal or the clutch without pressing all of them down at the same time, which makes it very difficult. Now we also have a steering lock. I need to find a way to mount that so it just looks a bit nicer. I think I was wondering about building a bracket, so if anyone's got any ideas that can maybe mount it behind there, that would look quite good. We'll have a look into that. But yeah, just another deterrent again to slow them down. They're the 2 obvious things that will hopefully deter some thieves anyway. This was not in it, so this is an original Land Rover dog guard. It mounts to the roof, and it also mounts to the bulkhead, which is right here. Stops Bentley climbing through. Yeah, it's very, very secure, and it probably holds the Defender together even more. And then beneath the bulkhead, or beneath the top of the bulkhead, you can see this is that silent coat that we were talking about. So this is more soundproofing. Eventually we're going to carpet over this like we have in the back, which you'll see in a second, and that just reduces the reverberation that can go on in the bulkhead, because it's just big metal panels and they do start rattling. You don't actually, with this kind of material, you don't actually have to fully cover the whole lot. It is designed so that you can just put a square on a big panel and it will stop that reverberation. Now we do cover it fully because it actually makes it so much easier to run carpet over. It keeps it a nice flat surface for carpet. So we will whip the seats out, and we'll do that at some stage, which we'll show you. Now another thing on the list that I really want to do one day is change these for nice kind of tan leather. I think that would really work with the Galway green paint job on the outside. A tan leather, do this in tan as well. Yeah, but that's obviously an expensive job, but it would look perfect. It would look really, really smart. What else? Oh, also the clutch was on its way out, so probably about 6 months ago we had a new clutch fitted. You can always tell when the clutch is going on a Puma Defender because it rattles like hell. Now let's go and have a look in the back. Now, as I say, you still have to use the key for the back on this because I've not wired in the central lock-in. This Defender actually started life as a van, and the windows were put in by the previous owner, but they've all been done really well. They've been done how they would be done from the factory. So yeah, it looks really smart, and they're all in the right place. And as you can see, it has now been carpeted. We've put soundproofing underneath all these panels, so they just sound far better. They don't echo like mad like they used to. Yeah, so soundproofing underneath there, and this is just where Bentley lives when we go exploring, and he just has loads of space. We want to put some form of panel here. Need to work out what we're going to do. A panel here or that side, which will just give us a bit more storage, because at the minute if you put anything in here it rolls into Bentley. So we'll put a panel here for storage. And yeah, another thing on the list as well, I want to get, you can get side panels that are like side trims, plastic trims for around the window, which just finish it off, just make it look a bit nicer. We'll get some of them at some stage, and we're both in agreement that we want to change the headliner to a black, maybe black or anthracite colour Alcantara headlining. Again, sometime down the line. A couple of things that we've done to the rear door. I mean, you can hear that. That is all soundproofed inside there, which is spot on. And also I fitted a gas strut to here, which just allows the door to be a bit more damped, really. It stops it from flying open or flying shut. When we first got it, We didn't have the swing away wheel carrier on the back, and as you would be trying to get something out, it would just shut on you all the time, and it's frustrating. So that's why that went in there. It's probably not needed as much now that the swing away wheel carrier is on there, but it's still a nice addition. Just makes it, yeah, a lot smoother when opening. Right, well, I think that's it. That shows you around the Defender, a nice quick tour. It gives you an update anyway on what it's like. About 4 or 5 months ago, me and a friend who's also got a Defender actually took it to Salisbury Plain, which is like a big military training area, and there is some public rights access to those places at times, so it's a really cool place. But we didn't film any of it, so we will be going back there again sometime. We'll film it, we'll take you guys along with us, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. We do all sorts of adventures with all sorts of vehicles. You'll see in previous videos that we like to go out and about in our camper van, but this new edition will certainly put a bit of a twist on that and take us to different places. So yeah, hit subscribe, hit the like button, and we shall see you in the next video.